Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning to our lecturers, guests, and all of the participants. Welcome to the UTM Undip UNS Sustainable Rural and Regional Development International Student Seminar 2026. First of all, I would like to thank everyone who has contributed to making this seminar happen. We are honored to have everyone here for this meaningful academic collaboration and knowledge sharing session. Thank you to our lecturers for your support and to all students from UTM, Undip, and ONS for the great teamwork from you throughout this collaboration. We hope today's seminar will run smoothly and everyone will get useful knowledge and new perspectives from the presentations and discussion. Before we begin, I would like to invite Davin to lead the prayer.
Tes, tes. Oke. Uh, Let us take a moment to pray according to our respective belief. So we are grateful for this opportunity to gather and learn together at this students' minor. We seek your so that this seminar may proceed smoothly and then our speaker, discussion, and organizer and participant may engage meaningful in sharing knowledge and ideas. And may this seminar broaden our perspective, strength, collaboration, and inspire valuable insight that contribute to sustainable rural and regional development. So we thank you for the blessing and guidance.
Okay, thank you, Davin. Today's seminar presentations will start from the UTM session, then the second is UNS, and the third is Undip. Without further ado, I would like to invite the moderator and presenter for session 1 from UTM to begin the session. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nur Alia Naziha. It is my pleasure to moderate this session for today. For this session, we will be listening to a presentation entitled Village Strategic Action Plan (PTSD) Kampung Sedili Besar Johor, Economic Rejuvenation of a Coastal Village. This project is supervised by Dr. Muhammad Fadli Rashid and Dr. Khairul Hisham. Our presenter for this session is Lim Zehang, and the discussant is Ainu Maisara binti Zainul Abidin, an urban and regional planning master student. Without further ado, I would like to invite Lim Zehang to present the project. The floor is yours.
Good morning to all my lecturers and my friends. But before that, I would like to request the share screens permission because in this WebEx I cannot share the screens. I have been prohibited. Sorry.
Lim, can you open your camera?
Okay. So now I would like to share the screen. Okay, so can everyone see the slides and hear my voice?
Okay, clear. But I think you need to this one, the app Zoom us want to allow this time. Okay, then
Is it okay?
you that one minimize. I think you close.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
Click hide.
okay, so good morning to all my dearest lecturers and my fellow friends. So as you guys can see from a beautiful view on our screen, so today we would like to present our study on the Village Strategy Action Plan, Kampung Selidi Besar Johor. So now I would like to start with the introductions for today's presentations. So the Kampung Selidi Besar is currently Kampung Seri Besar is currently shifting from traditional fishing to ecotourism due to competition from nearby hubs like Desaru. So our reports analyze these transformations, focusing on how to promote resilient developments by upgrading infrastructure and empowering the local community. So moving to our vision and objective, we envision Kampung Seri Besar as a model for sustainable and resilient coastal developments, balancing economic growth with environmental preservation. So to achieve this, our study is driven by three main objectives. First, analyzing the village socio-economic profile. Second, identifying its core potential and issues. And finally, we planning the structural strategies to foster the community solidarity. And this is our overall study approach. So we divide the process into three main stages. The stage one focus on data collection through surveys. Stage two involves the integrating this data through focus group discussion and field observation to analyze current issues and opportunities. And finally, in stage three, we use the findings to prepare a comprehensive action plans. So before diving deeper, it is important to note that our study areas falls under the jurisdiction of Kejora. So in reviewing their policy, Kejora main role is to develop Southeast Johor to let the Southeast Johor more prosperity. So their key objective is to focus on reducing the urban-rural economic gaps, creating local jobs, and ultimately accelerating economic growth in the regions. And moving on to our policy review, we analyzed four key policies, which is they have two of them are national policy, which is the Dasar Rancangan Fizikal Desa Negara 2030 and Dasar Pembangunan Luar Bandar. And then the other two is the state level policy, with especially the Johor Structure Plan and also the Maju Johor 2030. So by synthesizing these four policy, we extract six core development strategies to guide our study. So as shown on the slide, these six pillars cover the community and social developments, economic diversifications, entrepreneurship developments, human capital developments, tourism developments, and infrastructure developments. So now we are moving into our literature review. Okay, so we look at the concept of rural transformation. So essentially, it is a process of comprehensive societal better chance whereby rural societies diversity their economies and reduce their reliance on agriculture, becomes dependence on distance placed to trade and to acquire goods, service, and ideas. So we apply this concept through three main aspects here, which is the diversifying the economy towards tourism, strengthening social ties through uh sorry, we evaluate this through three key pillars with economic diversification toward tourism, strong community leadership, and infrastructure upgrades. So to see this transformation in actions, please direct your attention to the satellite image on the right hand side here. So which show the clear physical change and the development in the village from 2010 to 2022, 2023. Okay, next is the sustainable rural development. So by Robert Chambers, sustainable rural development is a process that improves the quality of life of rural communities by empowering local people, which encouraging participations and ensuring that development benefits are distributed equitably and sustainability. So we apply this concept through three main aspects, which is the diversifying the economy towards tourism, strengthening social ties through the cultural activities, and improving basic infrastructure for better living standards. Okay, now we move to the village profile. So as you can see, the Kampung Sedili Besar is located in Kota Tinggi, which covering a vast area of approximately 1,000 700 hectares, and it is strategically situated facing the South China Sea, and it's about 30 kilometers from Kota Tinggi town and also about 40 kilometers from Bandar Penawa. So in terms of accessibility, the village is well connected by three main routes, which is J uh, 89 and FT 212 and FT 213, which linking it seamlessly to surrounding hubs. And then zooming out to the regional context, Kampung Sedili Besar is strategically located on Johor East Coast, and under the Kojora framework, it is a vital hub for the marine economy and ecotourism. So most importantly, unlike the heavy industrial cluster in Pengerang, Sedili belongs to the northern conservation zones. So therefore, the development here focus heavily on balancing community growth with environmental sustainability. And then this is the demographic in the Sedili Besar. Okay, so our study area has a total population of around 7,700 people, which is predominantly Malay, with a well-balanced gender mix. And then the majority of residents have up to a secondary education, which economically, with an average monthly income of uh 100 1,400 ringgits. And the local economy is primarily driven by three traditional sectors with small business, fishing, and also the livestock farming. And then moving on the village administration structures, the local governments here operates under the Kota Tinggi Lands and Districts Office, led directly by the subdistrict headmen and the village heads. To manage the village effectively, the leadership is supported by six specialized uh, departments with handling key areas from infrastructure and economy to health, safety, and community welfare. And now we look at the assets and resource of the village. So the local economy is driven by the three main pillars, which is the fishing activities, palm oil plantation, and also the small scale business. So to better analyze this resource, we categorize them into main and supporting economic sectors, which is uh, our main economy contents of the traditional fishing industry, palm oil plantation, and also the emerging the tourism sectors. Meanwhile, supporting economies are driven by local small-scale business like food store and family retails, which sustain the daily community service. So we move to a new chapter, which is the study methodology. So we start with phase one, which conducting an inventory survey to gather physical site data. And next, in phase two and phase three, we engage the community directly through questionnaires and focus group discussion to understand their real needs and challenges. And finally, in phase four, we synthesize all this information using comprehensive data analysis, including spatial and SWOT analysis. Okay, next, we move into the study and analysis and findings. So for the environment sectors, based on the observation, the cleanness of most of this village is poor. So this is because there got a little treasure all over the village area and making the environment look dirty and smell bad. So for the infrastructure, from our site observations, we identify a mixed situations, which is on the positive side, the religious facilities like the surau are very well maintained. However, community space like public halls are quite limited, with some still under the constructions. So the most critical issue we found is the drainage system, which many drains are clogged and overgrown with vegetation, which preventing the proper water flow. So for the accessibility and connectivity, our analysis reveals two major gaps in the village. First, transit imbalance, as bus stops are isolated only in the north at Kampong Semayong, which here, and the route in the village actually is narrow so that bus are difficult to get inside. And second, uneven route conditions. While Kampong Tanjong has the best roads, Kampong Bukit face the critical safety hazard as seen as on Jalan Sembilang. And then this is the tourism hotspots in the Sendiri Besar, which we have the Pantai Temala and also the Celok Celok 5A and also the Sea Horizon Resort. And then for the public amenities, we found from our site observation, we only found that they only have one public toilet in the Kampong Tanjong. So it is difficult when especially during the holiday because it's a tourism hotspot. So that when many people go there, so it is not have a sufficient toilets for to support the to support the tourism. And then next we move to the economic and business activities. So we can see a clear spatial imbalance with Kampong Tengah and Kampong Tanjong in the south are the main economic hotspots with the most business. In contrast, the other village, especially Telok, Nireh, and Bukit, have very limited or almost non-active economic presence. So for the residents, social and community, our findings showing varying levels of social cohesion. Kampung Semayong and Telok Nireh lead to the area with strong community participation. However, for villages like Kampung Tengah and Nelayan, despite having good neighborly bonds, but they require targeted programs to boost their active residents' involvement. Moving to the environmental quality perception, the results are very clear. So residents are highly satisfied with the religious and social aspect of their community. However, their main concerns lie in economy and safety. Specifically, Kampung Nelayan recorded the lowest scores across the board. So to conclude our analysis, this comparative chart highlights where our ur- urgent interventions are needed. Villages like Kampung Semayong face minimal issues. However, Kampung Nelayan, Bukit, and Telok Nireh are struggling with critical challenges, especially in safety and education. Therefore, our future development effort must prioritize these vulnerable villages to reduce the disparities. So next, leading to economic sectors, this chart clearly illustrated the economic gaps. So Kampong Bukit stand out as the primary growth center with a diverse modern economy. In stark contrast, the surrounding satellite village still rely heavily on traditional agriculture and fisheries. This leads us to our development recommendations. So to meet the needs of the younger generations, our primary focus must be on physical upgrades like infrastructure and internet, along with the economy enhancements such as creating job opportunities. Meanwhile, the social aspect will serve as a crucial supporting element to ensure such a sustainable community growth. So, uh, let's moving to the core of our proposal, which is the SWOT analysis. So we map a spatial SWOT analysis. The core takeaway is clear. The area has massive potential in ecotourism as an SME development as our main strengths and opportunities. However, to truly unlock this, our upcoming proposal must urgently fix the infrastructure weakness like poor lighting and parking, while mitigating external threats like competition from Desaru. And this is the best practice of village. So, for example, like community gotong royong, river activities, and then we also have the river cruise activity and the fishing activity with local residents. So this is the vision, mission, and objective for the development strategy for our action plans. So our vision is the Kampung Seri Besar Sustainable Rural Tourism Destination with Identity. The mission is about the developing the physical and social space of Kampung Seri Besar through the provision of friendly physical infrastructure to create an authentic and high quality tourism destination. And we have two objectives is improving the physical infrastructure so that tourists can enjoy the physical facilities in Kampung Seri Besar. And the second one is enhancing the identity to eco-based and coastal tourism. So uh, this is the analysis. This is the study framework. So building upon our previous finding, our development concept is anchored by three main pillars, which is we will drive this transformation through team one, which is improving our community infrastructure. and security, and team 2, sustainable tourism, and also the team 3, which is the coastal community development. So for the team 1, diving, okay, infrastructure, connectivity, and security. So we tackle this through 3 main strategy, which upgrading a route network, establishing community security centers, and installing public and solar street lightings. So, okay, next. So moving to the team 2, which is developing a resilient, vibrant, and sustainable tourism destinations. So first, we upgrade the physical tourism facilities such as the jetties and proper signage. And second, we promote local assets by developing coastal ecotourism and seafood culinary package. So as mapped on the right, this partial intervention will cost an estimated 500,000 ringgit with executors alongside agencies like MDKT and JKL to boost the local economy. And then finally, we arrive at the team 3, which is sustainable coastal community and development. So here our focus shift to soft intervention. So we tackle this through two strategies. The first one is enhancing a coastal environmental quality and livability. And then we strengthening the community engagement, environmental awareness. So as mapped out, these program notes are highly cost effective, requiring a minimum budget of around 60,000 ringgit to ensure long-term livability. So last but not least is our conclusion part. So to conclude, our study proved that Kampung Seledri Besar has immense potential. Moving forward, by integrating our strategy in infrastructure, ecotourism, and environmental care, we can achieve true sustainable rural development. Ultimately, our goal isn't just economic growth, but creating a resilience and better quality of life for the entire community. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Lim Zehang, for the insightful presentation on the Village Strategic Action Plan, Kampung Seledri Besar, and its approach to its economic rejuvenation of a coastal village. Now, I would like to invite our discussant, Aino Maisara binti Zainul Abidin, to provide review, key insight, and feedback on the presentation. Aino Maisara, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for the hello. Keluar suara tak? Hello. Okay, so thank you for the moderator, and also congratulations to UTM team for the presentation. So before I start I introduce myself. My name is Aino Maisara binti Zainul Abidin, and I am a postgraduate student from Faculty Built Environment and Surveying from UTM. So your baseline mapping is solid, and so you have clearly captured the village transition from a traditional fishing hub into an eco-coastal tourism destination. So this is already a good framework. So maybe my job today is to offer maybe a few practical suggestions, specifically looking at how we can focus more on the SWOT analysis and maybe the implementation roadmap to take these action plans to the next level. So we start with the first one. So from the SWOT analysis mentions the key external traits, but the subsequent strategic teams do not explicitly show how the community will survive with them. So the project becomes an excellent when the threat section isn't just a list of problems, but a direct trigger for an action plans. If we list a major threat, there must be a matching or maybe low cost defensive strategy in our roadmap. So your SWOT explicitly notes that climate change and shifting seasons affect fishing activities and yields, but the action plans only focus on physical upgrade like road improvements and installing solar street lights. And what if the monsoon season, or we call it as musim tenggelam, hits and the sea is closed for about a month, and the improved roads won't protect the local incomes. So for my opinion, to easily fix this, you can add a small monsoon mitigation program under your economic pillar. So you maybe can suggest a
I know.
Teruskan, terputus tadi.
Kena contact pelajar ni. Nanti takut dia cakap seorang-seorang.
Okay, sorry, I have some technical issues, so maybe I can just continue. But I'm so sorry, I can open my camera since I have technical issues, so let's continue. Okay, so to easily fix this, you can add the small monsoon mitigation program lah. So by tightening that can link between the threats you found and the solution you propose, and your SWOT becomes a highly functional tool rather than just a text-based exercise. So next, we overlook to the factor, which is the SWOT correctly identifies competition from the SARU, right, as a major threat, but the strategy tries to compete on the same playing field instead of differentiating. So as it's important to you guys to realize a small village cannot build a multi-million-dollar commercial giant like Desaru. So therefore, your strategy is to positioning. Shouldn't try to replicate a modern features. So it needs to double down on raw authenticity. So maybe on your action plan maybe you can focus more on upgrading the waterfront facilities, and providing a proper tourism support, and build a modern fish market. While necessary, if it's the aesthetics look too modernized or generic, maybe tourists will choose the luxury of Desaru over Sedili Besar. So maybe to add a micro strategy called the alternative campaign. So in your marketing and branding proposals, you can emphasize that Sedili Besar is the another of Desaru. Maybe you can focus on market it as a raw or slow tourism, and can offer a local experience, and also to protect the traditional culture and fishing methods as a premium thing, premium activities at Sedili Besar. So what my point here is you must make Sedili Besar different as a different entity from Desaru. So differentiating instead of competing maybe can help the strategy to protect the niche that a big commercial hub can never steal from the village. So next, my point is the action plans lay out what needs to be done, but they don't explicitly space them out into a realistic timeline for a local village committee to execute. A village or JPKK or maybe a local council has limited manpower and budget, so they cannot launch a solar street lights, build a new fish market, or maybe run environmental campaigns all in 1 month. So for example, maybe in team 1 and team 2 for massive infrastructure tasks, our group alongside community safety programs and digital packaging. So without a timeline, a plan can feel overwhelming and unachievable to a local stakeholder. So maybe I can suggest adding a simple phase road map graphic at the end of your framework slide. Maybe you can divide to using your existing ideas into three simple timeline. First one is for short term, maybe 0 to 12 months. Second is medium term, maybe 1 to 3 years. And the third one is for long term, maybe 3 to 5 years. So by adding this simple phase timeline, we'll take your idea and turn it into a highly practical blueprint that the village can actually read and follow. So maybe that's all my discussion for today. So to wrap it up, from your presentation today, it's incredibly strong. So, and your teams are highly relevant, and your community first approach is exactly what sustainable development needs. So by simply thinking, by simply using the point that I shared today, maybe you can help to positioning back the what positioning back the village as the authentic alternative, and organizing back your ideas into a short, medium, and long-term timeline. So your project will be maybe can be enhanced more. So congratulations to UTM team, and that's all for me. Thank you, and back to you, moderator.
Thank you, Aino Maisara, for the valuable discussion and thoughtful key insight. We will now move on to question and answer session. Participants are welcome to share question or comments regarding the presentation. Anyone? So if there's no one, I would like to that concludes our presentation from UTM for this session. On behalf of organizing committee, I would like to thank you, our presenter, discussant, supervisor, and all participants for their contribution. We will now proceed to the next session presented by student from UNS. Please join me in welcoming our colleague from UNS for the next talk. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I'm Yeski Vanessa Ravenli from UNS, will be a moderator for this session. This session will present about tourism village and rural development in Kemuning, Karanganyar, and presented by Hafiz Purbodarmaji, and will responded by Bu Purwanika from Disperkim Tarus Ragen and Kak Sheila from Master URP student. Hafiz, you can start your presentation. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Yeski. Wait, I will share my screen first. Okay, first, is my screen visible?
Yes, Hafiz.
Okay, good morning all. Before that, my name is Hafiz Purbodarmaji. You all can call me Hafiz. I'm representing 11 Maret University. I would like to present our topic, tourism, rural and regional development, with the study case in Kemuning, Karanganyar, Indonesia. Okay, so the place introduction we can see. So the Kemuning village is located in Ngarsoyosa district, Karanganyar Regency, Central Java, Indonesia, covering at like 6,069 hectares. As we can see from the satellite image, a large portion of the village is still dominated by green open space, especially tea plantation. This landscape reflects the village's main characteristic and tourist potential. We can see that the Kemuning village is recognized for its extensive tea plantation, nature tourism attraction, adventure tourism, cultural heritage, local tradition, and historical tourism site. We can also observe the administrative boundaries of the village, Kemuning, bordered by Segoro Gunung village in the north, Girimulyo village on the south, Berjo village in the east, and Jenewi district in the west. Next, from the rural transformation, by comparing conditions before transformation in 2010 and after transformation in 2026, we can observe significant change from the perspective. We can look up from the satellite. First, from the social, the population increased by around 3,000 people over the period of 15 years. Second, from the physical aspect, as we can see at the satellite, the land use has gradually shifted from agricultural function facilities to commercial space. Third, from the economic aspect, local economic activities have become more diverse. The village economy has no longer depend solely on agriculture, as tourism has become an important source of income and employment. Overall, Kemuning village has transformed into an agricultural destination. This transformation reflects a process of rural regrounding, where the agricultural land remains important but is combined with tourism. Okay. We can also see the significant change in the livelihood asset and local communities. The first is the regarding natural asset. The tea plantation have evolved from agricultural production areas into tourism attraction, increasing the economic values on landscape. And the second is the human asset, where improved local communities have expanded their capabilities beyond farming into hospitality, entrepreneurship, and tourist service. Next, into the third is the social asset, have strengthened through tourism development. The emergence of the youth organization, tourism awareness group known as Lok Darwis, and community-based initiative has improved local collaboration. The fourth is the financial asset that improved to the income diversification. Household now generate income not only from tea cultivation, but also from the homestay, food service, tour guiding, and the recreational attraction. And from the fifth is the physical asset for the infrastructure and facilities have undergone substantial physical development, especially the construction of the Kemuning Sky Hill Glass Bridge become a catalyst that transformed Kemuning from a niche destination into a major tourism. And we can see like the pre-tourism, then the after transformation. Before the tourism development, road access to tea plantation areas was narrow and largely unpaved. There were no tourism facilities such as parking, toilets, and accommodation or like food and stall. Electricity and communication infrastructure were limited, where major attraction are capable of attracting large number. But after the transformation, the Kemuning Sky Hill like becoming the new landmark attraction, the homestay development expand through the cooperation and between BUMDes and SMF, tourist parking areas, outbound facilities now fully operational. And this livelihood transformation has also been accompanied by digital transformation. The before transformation, the Kemuning village faced several rural challenges like limited digital infrastructure, restricted the field, as economic activities were still concentrated in traditional agriculture, resulting the limited capability among the resident business, and the use of digital was relatively low because the tourism promotion, business activities, and administrative service were still conducted through the conventional method. However, the Smart Nusantara program supported by PT Telkom Indonesia in the after transformation has significantly improved this condition. This connectivity gap has been reduced through the improved digital infrastructure and the launch of the Kemuning tourism. The affordability gap has been addressed through increased local income generated by tourism activity. Now from the rural urban partnership, not from the digital, we can look up the partnership. We can see there are also like the tourism partnership for urban visitor and to rural village, digital partnership for smart village, and the agrotourism and the supply chain partnership, the village urban market. We can look at the tourism partnership. The arrival tourist motivated local resident to the tourism sector, the digital partnership, the smart village project accelerates digital access and public service, and the last is the agrotourism and supply chain partnership. That local farmers supply kilo first and the industry provide the market, and it's become the tourist attraction. However, despite its impressive transformation, Kemuning village still face several risks and challenges. We can look up for the map for the legend. At the landslide system, the most for the disaster, we can look up like the legend is high, so the rate is high, and because Kemuning is located in the slopes amount of flowy that the topography is high, and the front of landslide, especially during rainy season with the high rainfall intensity. And based on data from the BPBD, Kemuning village experienced 30 landslide in the 2020, and the highest in the Arsoyoso district. And from sustainability, the preservation of vegetation and tea plantation is reduced to risk erosion and landslide. The strengthen community capacity in disaster preparedness or risk reduction, and the balancing environmental, economic, and social aspect ensure the sustainability to tourism village development. In short, we know that while tourism development has generated significant economic benefit, environment conservation and disaster mitigation remain essential to ensure sustainable development in futures. Okay, based in our analysis, we can look up from like the challenge, and the first is the land tenure conflict because much of the tea plantation land is owned by PT Rumpun Sari rather the local community, and the second is absence of the comprehensive environment planning despite the rapid tourism growth. The third is the low community participation in the tourism decision-making process. The fourth is the Smart Village program has not yet achieved its full potential. And move to fifth, the community participation remains a relative shallow and often limited implementation or planning is like the low community participation. The environment sustainability that overlooked in the sixth frequently overlooked development planning. And the last is the infrastructural limitation for the development and the low digital for the future development. Okay. Because of that, we address this challenge. We propose the four main strategies. For the first one is the strengthening the collaborative governance by establishing the stronger partnership among the government institutions like the PT Rumpun Sari, local communities, academics, and also the private sector. This creating participatory decision-making mechanism that actively involve the stakeholders. And the second is the implementation of sustainability smart village. The implementation is being carried out the fast through the improve the basic infrastructure and the digital connectivity for the communities. And the third is the green tourism and environment governance, because the development of a zoning-based ecotourism management plan is necessary to regulate land use and coordinate with the environment carrying capacity. And the last is the enhance the local economic capacity self-reliance, strengthening village-owned enterprise like BUMDes and small medium-sized enterprise and UMKM, and diversifying tourism products, processed tea products, and local agricultural products. Okay, with all of that, we have the conclusion that the community village has success transformed from the tea farming village into the thriving agrotourism destination, driven by the strategic infrastructure development, digital transformation, rural partnership. But however, there are a critical challenge like the land ownership is controlled by private company, environment sustainability is overlooked despite its high land risky, and the community participation in decision making is still shallow. So like the community transformation is impressive but fragile. The economic growth must be balanced with environment protection, community empowerment, and inclusive governance to ensure long-term sustainability development. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Hafiz, for the presentation about rural development in Kemuning. Yeah. Now I would like to invite Bu Yunika first to share an input and response for our presentation. Bu Yunika, you may respond to our material.
Thank you, Yaskri, for your time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Firstly, I would like to compliment your presentation. You described very well about Kemuning, and your analysis is very I mean, it's very complete. You analyze about physical condition, about partnership, and about the opportunity how to develop Kemuning area. Maybe firstly, I would like to describe very short description. I would like to give a short description about Kemuning. Kemuning is in a highland and it has very unique natural climate and the scenery is very good and it is a potential that we can explore more. And I think the idea to how to explore the potential about Kemuning in terms of how to make partnership with the government, with the local community and the private sector. I think it is a good idea because what I see nowadays, Kemuning is too fast growing. They growing too fast and sometimes the partner sector, they don't concern about how the sustainability environment and the impact is in the local government, especially in Sragen area, because Kemuning is the catchment area of Sragen. The area of tea plantation is very good for the catchment area, but nowadays they shift the plantation area into tourism area and many built area take over the tea plantation in Kemuning. I think we should analyze, even though I see that this team already analyzed the complete analysis, but I think you miss about the carrying capacity because I only see your map about risk management, potential risk in that area, but I cannot see what is your carrying capacity map about the budidaya and what in English, budidaya and kawasan lindung dan kawasan budidaya. I mean, yeah. Firstly, we should overlay some maps like rain intensity map and then the soil map and topography map, and then you can make you can describe where is the budidaya and then where is the lindung area. I think first one, because we talk in spatial planning, so we should make a more analysis in spatial terms. And then about the PUMDes or company owned by village government, I think it is very interesting because they can provide the villagers money every Idul Fitri. Every Idul Fitri, they give the villagers around 500 rupiahs because it is the share money because they get profit from their business and then they share the profit to the villagers. And I think we can explore more about the BUMDes or company owned by village government. The real idea is how to empower the BUMDes, how to make partnership program between BUMDes and the private company or the government. And what you offer about the Nusantara program or the how to use internet, how to use IT to promote the tourism opportunities in Kemuning is very interesting. I think that's all. But sorry, I want to give one more input about how the villagers do not accept the idea of geothermal technology. The national government, they want to make a geothermal electricity, but the local villagers, they don't accept that idea because they afraid that the geothermal electricity will ruin the tourism potential in Kemuning. I think we can refer to the Dieng. Dieng is also have geothermal electricity technology, and they can go together between the tourism and geothermal technologies. I think Kemuning also can use this potential to provide more electricity in Central Java area. So maybe we should concern about the issue that maybe happen around this area. One of that issue is about build geothermal technology in Kemuning area. And I think this team should concern about this issue. That's all. Thank you for your opportunity. And I will give the rest time for Yeski. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Yunika, for the feedback and insightful response. The knowledge you share will be very valuable for us. Now, the second, I would like to invite Kak Sheila from Master of Urban Planning Program UNS to share the response.
Okay, thank you, Yeski, and thank you, everyone. And thank you, Hafiz, for the presentation. Such an insightful presentation. And in my view, listening to the case of Kemuning village reminds me of my experience in Ponggok tourism village nearby Solo. And from what I observe, it's kind of similar to this village, which is Kemuning village. One of most important factors behind successful rural development transformation it's not only the infrastructure only, digitalization or external investment, but I think the strength of the development is of the community itself. Physical digital development maybe can certainly accelerate growth, but I think their long-term sustainability depends uh, on how actively local communities are involved in planning, in managing, and or benefiting from the transformation process. So a community-based approach is crucial, I think, because it helps build local ownership and collective responsibility. Because the formation of tourism awareness group, maybe from youth organization and uh, other community initiative in Kemuning village, therefore a very positive side. So when local people are empowered to participate for the decision making or for the capacity building activities, they become more capable of adopting a new technologies, developing tourism products, and addressing social and environmental challenges. As a result, transformation becomes not only an economic process but also process of strengthening social capital and also community resilience. Therefore, I believe the investing people and community institutions should remain a priority to ensure the future. Uh, on the future, the Kemuning village development can be sustained by the community itself. Maybe that's all from me. Thank you. Going back to Yeski.
Okay, thank you, Kak Sheila, for the feedback and insightful response too. Now we start the Q&A session from the audience. If there are any question, you may raise your hand and tell the question or just type below the room chat. Okay, maybe from Fikri Hanif, you may ask the question.
Okay, earlier mentioned in slide 5, there seems to be a contradiction to the slide 10 that is mentioned. May we see the presentation before? Yeah. It's social asset. Yeah, the social asset one. Now, on social asset it's described as a success, right? But it's basically highlighting strong collective management and community cohesion. But when you re-mention it back in slide 10 in the challenges, it basically contradicts it because it is said that the community-based tourism model isn't fully effective yet, and the resident primarily execute the program designed by external factors. So given this discrepancy, is there a current governance structure in Kemuning maybe that is actually top-down, or has there been genuine measurable progress towards the bottom-up community-led management?
Hello, test. Is my voice? Okay. Thank you for Hani for the. So in my, not mine. So in our like mine, in data, so the Immerse of Tourism and Encourage Foundation and the Youth Organization Tourism Awareness Book that is committee based. So there are the communities, but like it's not the structural for the government like the top down. It's like just the tourism service. So it's not like the structural and boom desk. And we can see out where's the then. And local community participation, we can see like the local resident mainly implement programs designed by external actors, while village owner enterprise whom this performance is content limited humans. So the local is in my So from our data, so the Bogdar risk is not the BUMDES. So the low community participation is like focused on like the village-owned enterprise. And in Indonesia we call it BUMDES. While the social asset, we can see that the tourism awareness group Bogdar risk is not the community from the BUMDES. So it's not like the government structural. So because that it's like maybe like the tiny externality. So because that the challenge is for the BUMDES. Is that answering, Fikri?
Yeah, good enough.
Okay, next question from Nabila. You can ask the question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your very informative and comprehensive presentation. My name is Nabila, and I'd like to ask a question that might help deepen our discussion. The challenges slide mentioned that the mainland is still owned by PT Rumonsari, right? And that the Smart Village initiative has not yet been effectively implemented. However, Kemuning is claimed to have successfully undergone a transformation. If these two main foundations are not yet been solid, is the prosperity resulting from this transformation truly felt by the community, or is it actually enjoyed more by external parties such as companies and the government? Because uh, ultimately, the true measure of a tourist village success is how prosperous in residents are. So I think that's my question. Thank you so much for your answer.
Okay. Thank you for the question, Nabila. So we can see like you're right, we can see at the first like the transformation. We can see all like the transformation from the tea and like all the agricultural areas now is the tourism and commercial. But like we know the data. So like because the tourism is like is become a rapidly, and we can say so the rapidly from the agrotourism from the just agrotourism, but there is no the environment planning. So that's like it's like the individual. It's like I forget the name. It's like the urban from the Surakarta and from the Karanganyar. And it's like the naturally. So because it's natural and there is no environment planning, is caused this for the community village. And because that we need like the smart village program style. So it's like because there is no full for the planning environment, this is happen. And because of that, for the future, we need the environment planning. How is it?
So it means it's presidential and also the government and also the communities is like 50-50 the benefit from the tourism, or it's more the benefits got it to the residents, or
First of all, we don't have data like the partnership is like the 50-50, like the 70-30, or like the 100% for the what? For the PT. But the data is like the umum, how I can say it. So the data is like because of this tourism we can also like we can look at like the economic for the village community is increased. So we can not know like it's like a 50-50, it's like the 70-30, but the data is yes, because of this like I think it's massive tourism, the agro-tourism is the economy is increased, so we need a sustainable for the environmental planning. But sorry, we can know like how is the 50-50 for the government or like the for the village or like the ratio.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the question. I think the questions are enough. I will close this session and it will be moved to the next session from Undip moderator. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the moderator of session 2, Yeski, for leading the previous session. And my name is Adnan Rizam bin Alfiansyah from Universitas Diponegoro, and I will be the moderator for this session. In this session, we are pleased to have Davin Zafir Fadila from Universitas Diponegoro presenting our study about rural transformation and economic diversification strategies in Purwasari Village, Semarang City.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Davin, and today I'll be presenting our study on rural transformation and the differentiation of rural economic performance in Purwasari Village, Kecamatan Mijen, Kota Semarang. So, Purwasari Village covers an area approximately 4.39 square kilometer. It's with the southwest suburban fringe of Semarang City. What makes this location particularly compelling is the tension it embodies. It straddles the boundary between residential expansion and productive agricultural land, making it natural focal point for studying how rural communities respond to urban pressures. Maybe someone might ask why Purwasari specifically. There are three compelling reasons. First, Purwasari is not simply a passive recipient of urban sprawl. It has actively adapted through the institutional development, notably the establishment of BUMP, as well as product innovation, including organic farming and e-commerce and socio-economic adaptation to what local calls the Petani Samban farming patterns. Second, its land characteristic are distinctive. The village contains a mix of rain-fed and irrigated rice field, which underline layered and increasingly diverse cropping pattern. And the third, the very concept of rural transformation, which we define as the economic, social, and physical change occurring in peri-urban areas, including the shift away from purely agricultural employment, is vividly and constantly illustrated here in ways that are difficult to find elsewhere in Semarang. So, the location and administrative profile, Purwasari is situated in Mijen District, Semarang City, Central Java Province at an elevation approximately 235 meters above sea level. The village is bordered by Jatibarang to the north and Polman to the south, Tambangan to the west, and Cepoko to the east. In terms of land use comparison, the breakdown is quite telling. Approximately 66% of the total area is paddy fields, followed by 22 dry fields, with settlement and other land use accounting for just over 11% combined. This dominance of agriculture land is not accidental. As well, see shortly it reflects deliberate government policy to protect productive farmland from conversion. The rural characteristic of Purwasari, farming activities here are multidimensional. The village engage in wetland crop cultivation and processing and has embraced modern farming practice and including greenhouse technology and poultry farming. There is also notable integration of agritourism through attractions such as Agro Purwasari and Nirwana Restore Farm. In terms of agricultural product, the village produce both crops and livestock with a growing emphasis and process and value-added goods. The livelihood comparison, however, reveals a significant structural shift. 64% of the agricultural workforce are from farm laborers, while 36 are self-employment farmers. Notably, approximately 19 works in construction. They're drawn by immediate daily wage, and around 8% are employed in factories, attracted by the stable regional salary. This is particularly important. The young generation is actively moving away from agricultural labors, favoring the predictability of factor income. This is draining the farm labor pool and will have long-term structural consequence. Meanwhile, a critical observation on land organic farmland has contracted sharply from 6 hectares in 2020 to just 2 hectares due to shifting crop preference and market pressure. Despite this, total agricultural land has remained stable due to municipal government ownership, which prevents widespread conversation. Okay, next is let's bring to the economic transformation. David and multi-phase economically, the local economic has shifted from a predominantly agriculture-based to trade, service, and non-farm sector. Land use has followed suit, with some agriculture plots being converted into residential and commercial space. Residents are not longer solely dependent on farming. Livelihood diversification and is widespread. What drove this transformation? Several converging factors. Purwasari, approximately to Semarang City, has improved access to urban markets and non-farm employment. The development of agriwisata Purwasari in 2016 converted underutilized coconut plantation into a productive tourism asset. The growth of 24 garment business in Dukuh Sodong has expanded non-farm economic activity significantly and critically, and the strengthness of farm institution through BUMP Lumpang Semar Sejahtera has improved market access and shortness the agriculture distribution chain. What are the implications? On the positive side, we see income diversification across tourism, the garment industry, and trade. There are new employment opportunities across multiple sectors, and high value is being extracted from local agricultural resource through agritourism and institutional support. However, there is also a risk of economic inequality. The benefits of transformation are not equally distributed in traditional farmers, particularly those without adaptive capacity risk being left behind. So beyond the economic, Purwosari has also undergone profound social transformation. We observe change in occupational preference among younger generation, increasing interaction between rural communities and urban areas, and a growing awareness of education and employment opportunities outside agriculture. The traditional quest of farming lifestyle and modern economic activity is evolving and not always in harmony. The key drives of this shift include urban influence from Semarang, improved transportation and accessibility, expanding educational facilities, and changing aspiration among the youth. The implication and significant, the diversification of livelihood, increased workforce mobility, and greater exposure to now knowledge and technology, but also reduced depends on agriculture among specific communities groups, which carries risk for food productivity and capacity and cultural continuity. And next is the physical transformation is perhaps the most visible dimension of change. Purwosari landscape has been development of residential areas and supporting infrastructure, while importantly maintaining its agricultural character. Agricultural character remains the dominant land use, which is significant with rice field itself, road network improvement, and the expansion of public facilities have engaged connectivity and accessibility with the village and the wider city. The key driving factor include Purwosari's strategic urban fringe location, population growth, government infrastructure programs, and the expansion of the community-based enterprise. The implementation include improved mobility, better access to public service, engage agriculture, logistics, and greater rural interaction. However, it also brings gradual land use pressure. The conversion of agricultural land into non-agricultural use in specific location in real and ongoing risk. So the economic differentiation. There are 5 structural factors like employment access, despite insecurity in steady industry of or service job versus seasonal farming, and second is educational attainment, higher education level unlock better paying of farm opportunities, and third asset and land opportunities, difference in productive asset and land adaptability. And 4 is infrastructure proximity, equal access to urban connectivity and transformation network. And the last one is adaptive capacity, varying ability to respond to market change to an economic resurrection. Our evidence advanced interpretation identifies 3 distinct processes. The income stability divide of farm works in industry trade and enjoy stable income, while traditional farmers remain highly exposed to seasonal market volatility. And the second is the generational phase shift. Young people are actively rejecting agriculture in favor of steady factor wage, while other workers are pivoting to construction for immediately daily pay, effectively draining the farm labor pool from the both sides. And then the last one is the contraction of organic farmland from 6 hectares to just 2 hectares, a start indicator of how market pressure and shifting preference are undermining sustainable agricultural practice. Like example in Purwosari, rural transformation in Purwosari has not produced informed outcomes. Instead, it has created widening disparity disparities in economic performance between those who have successfully transitioned into non-agricultural sector and those who have not. Okay, let's look at our comparison table. Income stability, agricultural household have low income stability due to seasonal fluctuation, while not agricultural household enjoy high stability. And then the income diversification, agricultural household have limited option. Not agricultural household have diverse income streams. And the third is the market dependency. Farmers are highly dependent on agricultural market. Non-farmer market workers are faced only moderate dependency. And then the fourth is vulnerability to external shocks. Agricultural households remain highly vulnerability. Non-agricultural one are comparatively resilient. And then the last one is economic growth potential moderate for farming household, high for non-agricultural ones. So there are three key findings emerge from this analysis. First, non-agricultural workers generally secure more stable income opportunities. Second, agricultural households remain disproportionately vulnerability to recession and market risk. And then the last one is different livelihood strategies result in systematically varying economic outcomes. Okay, so the conclusion in Pulwasari village demonstrate a textbook case of peri-urban rural transformation characterized by structural economic shift and land use change, livelihood diversification, and depending urban influence. Crucially, this transformation has not eliminated the agricultural sector, but it has generated significant economic differentiation within the communities. Some households have successfully integrated into a new economic activity, others remain anchored in traditional farming, facing increasing vulnerability. BUMP Lumpang Semar Sejahtera stand out as critical institutional adaptation mechanism, strengthening the bargaining position of farmers, sort the distribution chain, and creating added value that support the long-term viability of agriculture in peri-urban context. So our recommendation are the Semarang City government should strengthen the protection of productive agricultural land through tighter conservation controls and sustainable agriculture zoning policy, given the mounting urbanization pressure in Mijan district. BUMP Lumpang Semar Sejahtera should be elevated as a replicable model for other peri-urban areas, demonstrating how institutional development can improve market access and agricultural added value. Farming communities should be supporting in expanding innovation in organic farming, agricultural processing, and agritourism to strengthen income diversification. And from regional development perspective, Purwasari should be redirected as a peri-urban agribusiness and agritourism hub, one of integrated farming and the service sector in a sustainable long-term framework. So this approach is expected to balance regional economic growth, local food security, and preservation of agricultural identity in face of ongoing transformation. So the story of Purwasari is not simple of story of village being absorbed by the city. It is a story adaptation of tension and opportunity, and remind that effective rural development policy must engage with the full complexity of the story. I think that's it from our presentation, and thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Delvin, for the excellent presentation. Now I would like to invite our discussion, Mr. Indra Dwijaya, to provide comments, feedback, and opinions regarding the presentation.
Okay, can you hear my voice? It's
Yes.
clear? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Pak Fadli, Pak Hisam, Pak Holi, Prof. Iwan, Bu Paramita, and Mas Krishna. First, I would like to congratulate all of you on your excellent performance in this semester, for the opportunity to collaborate across three universities, indeed, UNS, UTM. I also appreciate the presenter for bringing forward a very relevant, interesting topic regarding the rural transformation in Purwosari. I don't know, we call it village, village, maybe in Indonesia, because the administration is city, we call it kelurahan, I think, in Mijen sub-district in Semarang City. I hope my background voice is noise is not clear, yeah. Okay. In my opinion, this presentation successfully demonstrate the rural transformation. It's not simple about the experience of the agriculture itself, but rather about to emergence the hybrid economy forms in peri-urban area or urban prints, like mentioned by the presenter. The case of Purwosari reflect how rural and urban characteristic increasingly overlap, particularly through the coexistence about agriculture activity, because and mention about the non-agricultural like government opportunity and in this area. The condition of rural transformation has long been discussed, yeah, as we know the concept, the balancing economy by Friedman, and then we know Mackey by this Kota, that this concept demonstrate the boundary between urban and rural area, increasingly blur, yeah, we know there is no gap, especially in Semarang City, with intermingling of economic activity itself. The presentation also highlight about the important phenomena where the agriculture does not entirely disappear despite increasing urbanization pressure. Instead, a local community adapt through the institutional, yeah, like strengthening. You mentioned about the BUMP or Badan Usaha Milik Petani, enterprises by farmer, Lumbang Semar, and then become the agro activity greenhouse, and then petani and in my mind about remain about the petani samben, or maybe like a part-time farmer. Yeah, this is a phenomenon that indicated the Purwosari is experiencing a dynamic process of rural adaptation with the peri-urban context or urban fringe context. I also interesting that Purwosari can be a strategic node connecting to the rural and urban system. As we know, the near of Purwosari, they have a new city, we call it PSP, like as we know, like identified by, if not mistake, but the name is aggregate in 2019. It's called a missing middle, indicating that many workers shifting from the agriculture sector to the informal sector in small town, as in Purwosari, like a small town is crucial part, become a structure of transformation of the economy itself. And as we know that Purwosari location is certain west part of Semarang. This is boundaries with the Kendal Regency, yeah, and the interaction between Semarang City and surrounding area, especially rural area in Kendal, rural area in Mijen and Ngalian, are demonstrate the importance of rural-urban linkage in shaping a social economic transformation in the context of from maybe we remember about the Thakoli perspective that on peri-urban dynamics become highly relevant because the peri-urban areas emerge to the continuous interaction between agriculture system and urban expansion itself that they mentioned about the demand of the settlement is quite high in that area. However, the presentation is especially attractive, but you can reduce the sentences, reduce the words. Yeah, you can improve with the diagram with the picture rather than a long paragraph. Yeah. Several aspects could be still strengthening academically the presentation because remains largely descriptive and would be benefit to stronger theoretical frameworks first and concept of the rural transformation, peri-urban or urban fringe, the agrarianization or economics itself, and then clear of methodological how many respondent, and then how do you do your analysis for the explanation. Yeah, the methodology is unclear for me from this presentation, and I hope maybe in the full report it is clear. Yeah, but from the presentation, because due to the time limits, so maybe you give us the conclusion. This is important to the research approach, collection technique, indicator that use measure transformation, and how like economic diversification and identification among the group and etc. This is quite important to present us. Another important issue for me is the concern of inequality and social differentiation. The presentation explained that some residents may benefit from the non-agriculture employment and the business opportunity, while the other depend on the agriculture itself. However, the analysis called go more further, critically discuss the beneficiary of the transformation, and then the quite interesting is about the existence of the agriculture itself. I don't know. Maybe the question is from the spatial planning perspective. Yeah, from the spatial planning perspective, I believe the discussion about this could also strengthened by examination the role of the smart city policy, or we call it planning policy, like mentioned in UTM or in Malaysia. What about the RTRW or the planning, spatial planning policy itself? It will be interesting to explore, like you can analyze the overlay of the spatial planning, and then the location, whatever the persistence of the agriculture in Purwosari is like a primarily driven by community resilience or local institution, or whatever it's also supported by planning regulations such as agricultural land protection, we call it LSD, and lahan sawah dilindungi or LP2B. Yeah. So they still exist for the agriculture or to the tourism, agrotourism. Overall, I think this research has been strong social potential because it illustrated the rural transformation in peri-urban urban fringe area. It's not linear for today. Maybe someone or somebody want to become the final project for our tugas akhir. It is the future research on rural transformation population could be carried to what several important agenda for us. Finally, maybe the long-term strategy are needed to extend the future trajectory of the Purwosari as a peri-urban area that mentioned by UTM or maybe by from URDI in UNS. You need a timeline of the change. and research could be focused on proposal will be able to maintain its agrarian identifies increasing urban influence or whatever it will gradually experience of the agrarianization and swift forward predominantly of non-agricultural economic structure. So thank you for this opportunity, and maybe thank you for your great job, all of us, all of you from the UTM, UNS, and Undip. And that's all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, Waalaikumsalam
Thanks.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to our discussion, Mr. Indra Wijaya, for the insightful comments, opinion, and feedbacks. Now we will open for question and discussion. If you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand or type your question in the chat box. Okay, it seems that there are no questions from the audience at this time. Thank you to our presenter, discussion, lectures, and all participants for the meaningful discussion and active participation in this session. With this, we have reached the end of session 3 and the final presentation session of today's seminar. I hope the presentation and discussion throughout the seminar have provided valuable knowledge and new perspective on sustainable rural and regional development. At this point, I would like to hand the program back to our moderator, Yeski, for the next agenda and closing remarks. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It seems that Yeski have a technical issue, so I will be taking over for the closing ceremony. But first of all, I would like to thank you again, everyone, on behalf of the committee. We would like to express our sincere appreciation to all the lecturers, moderators, presenter, discussion, as well as the participant for your time and support today. Okay, so before we conclude, I would like to invite any lecturers who would like to share any feedbacks or any closing remark for our session today.
Okay. Pak Oli, saya mula dulu Pak Oli.
Ya, silakan.
Boleh ya? Okay. Right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good morning to all docent, lecturers, Pak Oli, Prof. Iwan, kita di sini Pak Indra, okay. And then also Bu Mita, Bu Isti, Pak Chris, then as not being forgotten, Dr. Khairi Sham, okay. And also to all the students, Alhamdulillah, thank you very much. You all did a good job for today's session on our rural seminar today. Okay, I think it is a very smooth in terms of the flow of the presentation or seminar. And in terms of the ideas or the topic that have been given by all the university, UTM, Undip, UNS, and also Undip, I think it is towards a similar topic to our team, which is the sustainable rural and development. And for UTM, okay, I think the ideas of what you show in terms of the action plan for the Sedili Besar, I think it is a context of planning for rural in Malaysia and looking into a fishery village that located, okay, in Johor, where the area itself has a very potential to develop as ecotourism, especially the coastal tourism and also fishing tourisms. And for the case of UNS in this Universitas 11 Maret, also in terms of the uh, area itself, I think very good, okay, to select and to showcase the Indonesia context. Same goes with the Undip as well. And I hope that everyone, okay, including UTM, Undip, and also UNS, I think you can learn from each other, okay, by doing the ideas of the assignments, okay, and also the sharing session, sharing knowledge between both between all universities, both Malaysia and Indonesia, okay. And in terms of improvement for your formatting or probably the ideas of showing the work assignment to the others, okay, which I hope that you all can learn from each other. And I think I give credit to Pak Oli and the rest of the team, especially to conduct or to join venture to this for throughout 6 series of guest lectures or probably international lectures, and also this international rural seminar. And I think we consistently conduct it well for almost like four years, okay. And I hope that this will continue again and again. And the student, please don't forget this program or this style of what we are doing in the class and also the seminar. It should be beneficial for you for your future, especially during your next semesters and so on. Okay, so with that, I wish you all the best, and hopefully all the comments given by the discussion could be improved more, okay, for your assignments, for your product of work, so that you may get better grades after this. Okay, so I think that's all from me. Thank you very much. I pass to maybe another colleague, my colleague, Pak Oli, and the rest. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam. Pak Hisam aja.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone. Okay, just a quick response for this International Joint Student Seminar. I think together the 3 cases show that sustainable rural development should not depend on one sector only. As been seen by all 3 case studies, rural areas can become more resilient when they combine local identity, community participation, economic diversification, tourism potential, youth involvement, and environmental protection. Each village has different strengths, but all requires clear strategy, strong local governance, branding, I think also very important, capacity building, and phased implementation to achieve a medium and long-term rural transformation. If I can go very quickly for each case study, the first presenter or the first project on coastal community rejuvenation of Sedili Besar, I think Sedili Besar has a strong potential for rural rejuvenation through its coastal identity, especially as a fishing community, and very centralized on the marine-based product and seafood restaurant river, sea landscape, and sport fishing activities. I think Sedili now become like a new big player in terms of sport fishing in the east coast of Johor. And based on the students' proposed strategy, I can see you focusing on the two main pillars, which are economic strengthening through community tourism, seafood or food-based products, including the fish markets and sport fishing. And secondly, strengthening the social component through community participation, youth involvement, skill training, and building a clear coastal identity for Sedili. And moving forward, I think the key purpose actions could include developing Sedili Coastal Experience Package. I think this is what being mentioned by the Tok Ketua during your FGD. And then maybe detail up on the upgrading the fish and seafood market, becoming more tourist-friendly area, promoting sport fishing packages, improving destination branding, which is currently still have a room for further improvement. And also maybe you can propose on organizing regular community-based tourism events that could activate the public spaces in that particular area. And based on the second presentation on tourism village and rural development of Kemuning in Karanganyar, I believe Kemuning has a strong tourism potential. Based on the discussion point of view, it is quite popular with the tea plantation landscape and mountain scenery, cool climate, nature attractions, among other tea-based experience and mountainous type of tourism. And I think tourism has helped shift the village from an agriculture-dominant economy towards a more diversified rural economy, involving guiding, transport, food, homestay, retail, and creative services. But I think there are some challenges, pertaining challenges that requires further thoughts and strategic solutions in the future, particularly on the management of tourism growth sustainably by improving waste management, traffic and parking facilities for tourists and visitors, upscaling community skills, and then improving local product development, not only to capture the local tourists, but also promoting on the international level, improving the visitor safety as well as conservation of natural landscape. And finally, on the rural transformation and economic diversification of Purwosari village in Mijen district in Semarang city, I believe Purwosari is a very urban village, as you mentioned in your presentation, that undergoing transition where traditional agriculture remains important, but is increasingly linked with the new opportunities in agrotourism. And I think also to some extent organic farming, creative industries, PMKR, and also digital entrepreneurship. And the village main assets include organic rice, horticulture, agro, Purwosari, thematic village. You have the Port Darwis and Badan Usaha, milik petani, which provide a very strong opportunity for transformation and diversification. And I think the key strategy for Purwosari is to diversify the local economy by modernizing their agricultural activities, strengthening creative industries, integrating rural tourism, empowering MSME, and improving governance, infrastructure, and environmental management. And lastly, I think to conclude, based on the students' presentations, all the three groups, students always suggesting actions which are outside the box. And sometimes your suggestion too outside the box that can be viewed as detached from possible implementation in the real world. Maybe due to unresolved root problems. Let's say you want to propose the idea of smart village. It's easier said than done if you cannot resolve the very basic, what we call it, precondition that allow for the implementation of smart village agenda. And also like achieving sustainable tourism, but without a proper waste management and so forth. So, but from economic point of view, I think, yes, it is good to enrich your strategic thinking, but to some extent, some of the strategic actions need to be rooted onto potential implementation, either for the medium and also for the long term. I think, again, I would like to thank my colleague in Undip, Pak Holi, Pak Iwan, my colleague from UTM, Dr. Fadli, and my colleague from UNS, Bu Paramita, Bu Isti, and also Pak Krishna, for your determination and commitment throughout the semester. And also for the students, I hope your interaction really bring a knowledge cross-fertilization between UTM, Undip, as well as to UNS. And I hope this will mematangkan, will make you a more confident student, because this opportunity might not be given to other students. So opening, widening your horizon, your thinking, I think would be beneficial in your years to come. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Pak Holi, Pak Hisham, can I take this turn first?
Yeah.
Okay,
Might be Pak Iwan.
Oh, Pak Iwan,
Yeah.
okay.
Pak Iwan here. Oh, itu Pak Iwan ada. Yes, Pak Iwan, maybe your turn. No?
Adakah Pak Iwan belum mandi?
Yeah, okay, maybe I will give a comment first, yeah. Yeah, first of all, of course, same like Pak Fadli and also Pak Isam, I would like to appreciate all of you or all of the students in the sessions, yeah, because actually this session is a reflections of your capacity, reflections of indication how you absorb our first 6 lecture sessions. So all the lecturing process and content are actually indicate in this session how the student can absorb our explanations and the way of lecturing. So my point, actually, there is 2 things, yeah. The first is about like learning process, and also the second, learning content itself, yeah. If we are talking about the learning content, all it is about the sustainable rural and regional development that we already provide you to the 6 lectures. So in here, I think that is already reviewed comprehensively by Pak Hisam and also Pak Fadli. And I also would like to appreciate Pak Hisam that always have a comprehensive report on social media after this. We will also would like to waiting for Pak Hisam report then. So for the content, then I just would like add some additional things, yeah, beside of the discussion from both of Hisam and Fadli. Might be first, it is about the people itself, because as we know that how the rural have problem, have issue, and also can make a good sustained development. Actually, depend on the people itself. They where they would like and or they would like to have capacity. The second also the people collectiveness, or we call it the institutions. So might be then the background of this process is about the development of the people and development of the institutions of the people in the rural area that can drive the sustainable rural and regional developments. Like for the instance, like the presentations from Badan Usaha Milik Petani, and also from the coastal, and also from the tourism. It is also relates how people have collectiveness, people and also local governments, and also small medium enterprise together has interactions developed in area. And also I would like to appreciate from ONS, start to involve the local governments to see our presentations. Very good to invite practitioners to give their perspective to us. And might be that this is for the content and the learning process. I also would like appreciate that you already have some motivations and also idea how to do these seminars, and also this is indicate how you work in team, internally work in your team in university, and also work together with other university. You have new friends, a new colleague. I think the planner will work something in this like environmental. So I think that's all from me. So even this is already for series in the joint lecture. For us maybe fourth, but for you, for the students still in the first time. So I would like to appreciate that you learn much on this. So I hope will be useful for your experience and career. Thank you. Bu Istien, Bu Pak Iwan, or Bu Mita.
If it's okay, I would like to go first.
Yes, please.
So, thank you very much for this student seminar, and congratulations to all of you that you have such a commitment to make this presentation. I know it's quite short period of time that you have to prepare this international student seminars, but it runs well. And as what other lecturers said earlier, I believe that you have already some new way of working in teams during this hour 6 guest lecture and this student seminar. And it might add to your soft skills of managing team, and also your soft skill in communicating to other people that have different contexts and different culture, and trying to grasp the ideas of what might happen in different types of rural areas. Another thing is about the content of the presentation today. It showed us 3 different cases, and all those cases are actually showed us how rural have different resources, and the problem of rural development is not only identify the resources, but also identify what rural needs to become able to utilize the resources. So from the presentation, we already understand the importance of human resources. We learn that some place have this main attraction to the rural development that is not owned by the local community. It means we have some kind of access issues here, not only physically, but also institutionally on the resources that we need to produce our rural development further. Things like that might also add to the perspective of how rural development, as we learned in our previous lecture, it has to be connected to other points of activities, be it urban activities or another rural activities. So in comparison to that, we can learn from these three cases that rural development might need something that is specialized in their very own development. What is interesting from the discussion from UTM, she said that it is important to differentiate instead of competing. So making new things that comes from local culture, local identities, as Dr. Hisham said, it is one of your main ideas for making this differentiation and rural specialization in rural development. I think it's a good idea, and we can take our inputs from the 6 lectures that we have previously in our class and trying to have those strategies kind of connected with those 6 lecture. I mean, you can start with the how rural transformation connected to the resources, or rural transformation to come up with ideas with mitigating the risk of hazard and risk of disasters probably. And you can also take some notes from Dr. Fadli lectures about how rural, they're not the same. So understanding the context first is very important to make the strategies. You can put up all those ideas to kind of enrich your strategy on your last part of your presentation about rural development. Thank you very much, Pak Holly, for all these coordinating things, Pak Fadli, Pak Hisham, and also Pak Iwan for this semester. And we also hope that this can be continued to our future collaboration, understanding that this have bring some valuable advantages to all parts of us. Thank you very much.
Okay, is there any other lecturers that would like to give their feedback for today? Okay, I think that is all from our lecturers. So I would like to again thank our respected lecturers for their valuable feedback, guidance, and encouraging remarks. And all of us truly appreciate your time and support throughout this seminar and all the 6 joint lectures. So now we will proceed to photo session. May I invite all the lecturers and participants to turn on their cameras for a group photo session. Okay, I will be taking the picture.
Sorry, Pak Isam, Musti, maybe I would like to give short comment. Really sorry.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm sorry because I was busy with, I'm moving my room. So a lot of things that have to be moved here. So I changed my room with Bu Wiwi actually because, starting from last week, I was officially as the head of the department. So this week is quite busy for me to move everything. But however, I also listen. I was listening the presentation, the three presentation. I think that was very nice from each university. You can compare from three different cases, yeah, from Malaysia and also from Indonesia. I saw also the presentation from UTM about PP something, yeah. I was a little bit busy that time, but I get the point that you somehow measure about the availability of infrastructure and so on. And in Kemuning and last case from the Undip students, yeah, I think that was very nice. So I would like to thank to all of you, to the students particularly for your active participation. So yeah, from Pak Hisam, Pak Holly, Pak Fadli, and Bu Isti Kaman, and also from the invited discussion, yeah, I think that will be very nice for the student to learn how you deal with different kind of aspect in rural development. As already mentioned, rural development cover complexity and complex problem, not only about physical, but also about resource and so on. Yeah. So I would like to thank to all of you for this successful of the joint seminar for today. Thank you very much once again.
We need to congratulate to Pak Iwan that now it is his first day to become department head of Undip now. Change will probably.
Congratulations, Pak Iwan.
Success, Pak Iwan.
Yeah, thank you. So definitely we will continue our collaboration. Yeah.
Yeah. Urusan lebih mudah now.
Urusan lebih mudah, bagi tahu saja dalam WhatsApp.
Langsung sign saja ya.
Ya.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, continue, please, Apelin.
Okay, thank you very much and congratulations to Pak Iwan. Okay, so I think we can continue with our photo session. Everyone, turn on your camera and smile. Okay, wait, I'll be taking the picture. Okay, get ready, everyone. Okay, wait, 1, 2, 3. Okay, hold on. I'll take another one. Okay, smile. Another one. Wait. Okay. And last one. Okay, that is all our participants for today. So once again, I would like to thank everyone for joining and participating in the UTM, Undip and UNS Sustainable Rural and Regional Development International Student Seminar for 2026. We all hope that everyone gained their meaningful insights and valuable experience from today's session. So with that, the seminar is finally and officially concluded. Thank you everyone and have a pleasant day ahead. Thank you, lecturers.
Thank you very much, everyone. Congratulations.
Yes, for PIC, please prepare the certificate, yeah.
Certificate and also the reporting. The proceeding.
Okay, thank you. See you.
Right, see you.
Thank you. See you all. Assalamualaikum.
Okay, Pak Indra.
Sehat-sehat.
Salam.